Hello and welcome to The Nation. I'm ELANE. In Malaysia, increasingly shaped by online noise, sensitive racial discourse and political fatigue. And the word unity can sometimes feel overused or diluted. Yet, does the idea still hold weight? Can unity be more than just a slogan in an era where social media often highlights our differences and real structural challenges? And therefore, joining us in the studio is COLLIN, SWEE, co-founder of Project 57, to share his perspective on what unity means and whether it still holds weight in 2025. COLLIN, thanks for joining us in the studio. I obviously will jump straight into the first question. What does Jiwa Merdeka mean to you personally?
Thank you for having me in this program, ELANE. And for me, Jiwa Merdeka, if you ask me when I'm very young, those days...
different phases, they have different meanings,
phases,
right?
Absolutely, different seasons.
Yeah.
So when I was young, it comes to Merdeka, 31st of August. My birthday is on the 30th, by the way.
Wow.
So I was very excited. Okay, so you feel a bit patriotic, right? But you don't quite understand, okay, there's the colonial masters, independence. But today I look back and I've been through my different path of my career, personal life, and being to many countries during when I was at that time my career in a corporate, for example. I look back now, this question, Jiwa Merdeka, the soul, right? My answer would be very different. That it's about home actually. Right? After going, traveling or meeting different kind of people, I'm so grateful actually that I come back to Malaysia and my home, my family, and it is such a beautiful country, and I'm so grateful what it has provided for me, and my family, and we have to reflect on that. For me, that's what Jiwa Merdeka means.
It always reminds me how the grass is always greener on the other side. A lot of people always think of, oh, look at it on the outside. This seems better. It seems like it's much more functional. But when you are able to access those, travel, see, expose yourself to those things, that's when you realize that there's a lot of value in your home and how close it means to you. And I think that's what you were reflecting on in terms of Jiwa Merdeka. It's how privileged we are as Malaysians. Once Malaysians travel out, we realize, let's not talk about anything else. Our food is amazing, right? Our people, we're just on another level. And the resources and the home that we live in, we are very, very fortunate. Now, let's talk about Project 57. What current or upcoming projects is Project 57 working on, especially in conjunction with Merdeka? We are coming into the month of August.
So, in the last number of years, I've been very privileged to become an entrepreneur. And my business and my business partner, Sadiq Alba, we felt that we in Malaysia about 10 years ago, we felt that we needed to start Project 57 because there was a period where Malaysia was going through a very dark times. Yep. There was the financial crisis, and then there was a fraud that was being perpetrated, and then there was all this negative narrative to distract people away from that. So there was going to be a march to Chinatown to be a riot. So among some of us in the entrepreneurs organization in Malaysia, together with Syed, we felt, okay, let's do something. Let's start creating positive noise and do what we are good at, which is creating a brand. Project 57. We engaged the young people. We said we wanted to make T-shirts that are with positive slogans that are but subliminal in a very nice way. So fast forward 10 years, where are we now? We feel that this year we want to look back, reflect a bit. Have we been successful or not? Did we really move the needle? Yeah. Did we make any difference? So we are going to create a video of all the young people that's been in our program, for example. Get their testimonies, whether they say, it was, nothing happened, it was useless, or on the positive side, they say, okay, I look at Malaysia differently. I'm now a leader of a corporation, and I bring these values of nation building to where we are. So this year, we have that. Then we are building schools. Whatever profits from Project 57, we have built a school in Gua Musang, Kelantan, for the Orang Asli community there. We are going to build a school in Bario, or at least expand that school in Baru Sarawak. And then we have a commemorative Unity ribbon in collaboration with Royal Selangor Pewter, this very famous brand, very Malaysian brand.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And it's good to know whether you have progressed or have we regressed, you know, how far have we come in the last 10 years, as you've mentioned. Now let's cut through that noise, right? Is unity, the word, you know, just a nice word Malaysians say, or does it actually mean anything to people today? What are your thoughts on that?
So unity or perpaduan, it's very, very wide and can be quite fluffy sometimes.
Yeah.
That's
people
what
think it's like a political word that gets thrown out, right?
Yes. So on the ground, though, for Project 57, over the years, a lot of our projects, we try to get out of the bangsa bubble, if you want to call it, and we go to we've been had projects in Sekolah Menengah, Dungun, for example, Terengganu. We have had our cycle project, so we cycle around the country. So where we are, for example, in Kedah. So the makcik in the goreng pisang stall, when we talk about unity or perpaduan, at the national level, probably she would feel it not in a place to talk about it. But if you talk about unity in her family, for example, and the children, in her community, in her mosque, she totally gets it, right? So that part, she knows the perpaduan is very important to be successful, right? To have harmony in the family. So the only problem now, whether this makcik in Kedah or someone in Johor or Sarawak, when it comes to national unity, they said this is the government's thing, right? Yeah, to forge unity, social cohesion. So I think this is where we have to breach it, to get everyone to understand that unity actually means stability and peace as well. Yeah.
Which was going to bring me to my next question, right? In terms of, you know, there's that distancing from that word that you just mentioned, national unity, versus what we may understand in terms of like what's intrinsically. But how do you define that word? What is the definition of unity? Do you have a definition that you use?
So to make it easier for a conversation, we always say, how about peace and stability then? Yeah. That, you know, today is very divided, right? From what's happening in America. In the world, actually, we had the fastest growth in the history of the mankind in the last 70 years, because of the power that the United States wielded to unite the whole world, from trade to everything else. Today, there's a change, of course, and now suddenly you can see wars springing up, people bringing up trade barriers. So that's why this comes back to the economy, for example, right? So stability, peace, economy as well. So where we are trying to get a young person to understand, unity means your pocket. What's in your pocket? Your job. Because if you are making noise on the internet about other faiths, other people of different background, you start creating disunity. You start shaking the foundations, and then you will see the repercussions of whether businesses, the economy start to slow down, you know. So we have to relate this and create the awareness, because otherwise people think this unity again. The unity part is always about the government, it's not their responsibility, right?
Now, how do you then balance that, right, with regards to, as you mentioned, shaking it up, but there is also a need for you to be able to express, for you to be able to voice out and be heard. So it may sound like disunity, but it's also being able to say your piece.
Yeah. So where is the loudest noise coming from today? It's probably at social media, right? The digital space and so forth. So I look at it that the past, whether, you know, how we start as Malaysia, this is now 67 years. And I look at it that whatever the foundations are, the better or the worse, this is where we are today. And we look at where the battlegrounds are, like, you know, where the noise coming from, the social media, right? Or people who are very, in a very extremist views. In a way, that's where we have to be, right? And where leaders or even business leaders, industry leaders, I think we have to get into that space. We have to invest. We have to participate, and using the same platform to turn it around as well, actually. Yeah.
Which let's talk about the current generation. I mean, a lot of the times when we talk about social media, the space is usually filled with the younger generation. Not to say that the old generation are not in there as well, they are as well. Do you think Malaysians even want unity, or are we too used to living in our own silos? Because this is what the new world creates, a lot of silos, a lot of echo chambers for their own individual sort of thought processes, and therefore you get to facilitate and amplify your individual sort of one thought. So what are your thoughts on that?
So when we are in that space physically, whether in the different places that I mentioned just now, when you hear them out, actually the young people want to travel to the pyramids. They want to go see Great Wall of China. They want to go see the United States, Hollywood, and all that. Very same aspirations. They only start making noise about race, about they start talking about divisiveness is when they are concerned about back to people stealing their jobs, for example. Because there are extremists telling them, hey,
your livelihood.
Why you're poor or you don't have a job is because somebody else is taking it away from you.
Yeah, the narrative that's been put out.
So I think that's why we have to counter it. That it's not that actually. It's back to your understanding now is number one. What can you do something about it? In that you look at your own position as a young Malaysian. You may be a scholar, you may be a Grab driver, you may be working as a manager in a factory. It doesn't matter. What you need to be aware now is number one, let's cut out all the noise that is bothering you. Look at where you can shine a light, right? So the wilderness where all the darkness is, you keep making noise there, it gets worse actually. But if you can participate, just veer a little bit to where people are looking at how you can change your future, how you can make a difference, then I think you start pulling people into the path that can help the community, the future, the nation, and so on and so forth.
Do you have an opinion with regards to how unity is often used to avoid hard conversations about, for example, inequality, race, or privilege, because that's usually the ones that cause dissent, those kinds of conversations. So therefore, using the word unity to sort of like, put a blanket over it. What are your thoughts on that?
So that's why very cynical. You're absolutely right. The cynics always will just shut you down. Okay, let's talk about unity and avoid all those hard stuff or that, like what you just say, end up we get lost in that, right? So I look at it now that you must take it head on, right? That the narrative using the same platform where all that the negativeness and that people are trying to avoid talking about it, you go and make them talk about it. That there are programs, there are the influencers and leaders. That if they understand where we are heading, if we are going to keep creating chaos or divisiveness, we are going to get into a very, very difficult place. But if you tell them, hey, let's start veering towards what everybody needs to do, to create a better future for us as a nation, it's something that we must do.
I think it's finding that balance of not sweeping things under the carpet versus, creating a negative sort of narrative that puts sort of like communities down. Now, from your perspective, how has the Malaysian sense of national identity evolved since 1957? That's quite a number of years to look at, but what's your opinion on that?
It's evolved so much, right? From start. It's about the getting independence, starting a new nation, and it was tough actually. Right? We went through the communist insurgency. The Indonesians also were unhappy with the creation of Malaysia. So the first period, tough, and but there's a certain glue that bonds us together, right? One of which is the cultural what do you call glue, right? Where at that time a lot of us were in the same schools, the understanding of each other culturally, and then it evolved, of course. One time the economic transition, very fast growth. So then the glue started breaking down a bit.
Disintegrating.
Right?
And then we are so segregated now.
So, and then the schools also started, what do you call, changing, right?
Yep.
I went to a Sekolah Menengah, Lasal, right? Different, everyone, different faith, different races. So where we know where the cracks happened, I think, and where we are today. So the evolution has been like that. But it's still a very young country, I will always say, ELANE. The United States and for the UK, they've been around for hundreds and thousands of years. So there's the evolution bumpy. Some highlights, you know, the P. Ramlee movies, you know, the football era, you know, the Santokh Singhs, Sochinans, so much to be proud of. But it's fading, and I think now we need a new narrative actually, and it's up to all of us to work on it, I think.
And as they say, like, strife makes us stronger, right? So
Absolutely.
it's the cracks that creates sort of like from the ashes.
Absolutely.
From the ashes we rise.
Absolutely.
Now, in today's Malaysia, what does patriotism look like? Is there a face? Is there a look for it? Is it different from the previous generations?
Very different, very, very different. When we were out cycling in our projects, we spoke to ex-commandos. They are now in their 80s, and they speak of patriotism in such pride that they fought alongside their Sarawakian brothers, you know, the Chinese brothers, the Indian brothers, Sorani brothers, and shed blood. People died. They were so proud of it. That was Malaysia with them. And fast forward today, if we relate these stories to the younger generation, some of them feel very touched by it. But I think today we have to have the new narratives. We must never forget history and revere these people who have contributed to our security, to our success as a nation. But I think moving forward now, the challenge is different. We have geopolitics to worry about, wars and all that. So even more, I think if there is a way of molding all these sort of challenges and getting all Malaysians to mobilize and be united to counter it, I think this is where we have to work at. So I always look at it that there's so many beautiful stories we can talk about. Maybe we have to bring this up, and then maybe the younger people will understand it, and then they work at it to what the future of Malaysia should look like.
I mean, I think a lot of people would look at the story that you mentioned about camaraderie being lost with a sense of like missing out, because I think a lot of younger generations don't have that kind of connection to some of those old stories. Now, this brings me to the question of, is buying a unity ribbon or wearing a flag on your shirt real patriotism then, and or symbolic of feel-good marketing?
So it is feel-good marketing, one part. Another part is a symbolism, definitely. We're not going to avoid that part to say that that's how it is. But everyone we speak to who has bought a ribbon, they wear it, they say they feel something tingling, something about it, right?
The physical connection to your pledge.
And then the ribbons are made by our Orang Asli kids. They get paid to do it, extra income for them. And the connection sometimes bring it to a conversation. Right, and one conversation is a very beautiful one where this Chinese boy from Kuala Terengganu, when he got the ribbon, he started talking to us about his own background. He has no issue with unity or love for his neighbors, because he's a Chinese boy with a Chinese family living in Kuala Terengganu. He related to us for he's probably 30. All his neighbors are all Malay Muslim families. But throughout all these years, his parents are always invited for the kenduri. And in the east coast of Malaysia, the kenduri is a whole weekend thing. So everybody go there, cut the meat, cut the vegetables, And never once the Malay Muslim neighbor asked his parents, "Hey, are your knives halal or not?" Never once. And likewise, they have a special set of knives that they only use for kenduris, right? So this is the respect, trust and respect. The kind of bonds, that when he shared his story, I'm like, wow, that ribbon brought this story out. It's so beautiful, right? The trust and respect and that kind of Malaysianness that we don't see it, or we see it less and less today.
Especially in the cities, right?
Yeah.
And is it possible then to foster real unity, especially in this age where social media algorithms reward outrage and division?
Yeah. So we are involved in various projects in the region, and one of them in Singapore, the ICCS, the International Conference of Cohesive Societies, run by the government of Singapore. So they have taken the lead on some of this research, right? And the one part they are very clear is that some of the studies all show proper research that the social cohesiveness is there. It's still an acceptable level in Southeast Asia, in Malaysia as well. The report is available in public domain. And how moving forward, I think it's all about like we must not give up hope. And it's this part about whether as a Malaysian, if you look at what is great about Malaysia, to continue just focus on that and build bonds and build bridges.
I don't think as Malaysians we are not hopeful. We are always hopeful, and we are generally a pretty optimistic bunch. But we've seen people become more vocal. And the question is, does this vocal energy translate into actual connection, or just, louder silos, creating their own little sort of like pockets?
Yeah. So during this conference as well, one of the things everybody knows the biggest problem, like I described earlier, right, is the digital platform. So, but you look at it today with AI, and if there is a will, political will, and commitment, we can actually turn it around by using the same platform, right? Using the same algorithm that's slightly tweaked, right, to push out the positive narratives, capture all the negative narratives, and then even put legislation in place, right, for anti-hate laws and all that. So where is the tipping point that going to push whether it's governments or leaders to rise up and do it? But I truly believe that the platform, the tools are already there. It's only when the tipping point comes and then people feel strongly enough to push the button.
It's like how people used to say about guns, right? It's not the tool, it's how you wield the tool that's important. So the question is unity something we build or something we imagine? And if it's built, who's building it? Government, people, projects like yours?
Yeah. So the biggest concern always when we talk to people is back to that's very simple thinking they have.
Somebody else's job.
Especially the government's job. They always say, this unity or forging cohesion, this is the government's job, not us. There's so many programs. So it's back to, I totally disagree. The government is doing what they can. They have to do it. They should do it. But it's back to leaders, entrepreneurs, organizations. Some of the NGOs are doing some great work to keep reminding, being engaged, being there, present, and doing this, especially to the younger set. It's very, very important. We are there.
Everybody has to take responsibility. Now,
just do your small little bit.
Exactly, the step by step, right? And one final question: in 2025, what gives you hope that Malaysians can still find unity, if anything?
Actually, Malaysians are wonderful, wonderful people.
We're resilient.
We are resilient. We are forgiving, and no matter what, and it's back to also the same principles of faith, right? I'm Christian. My Muslim friends or Buddhists or Hindu all believe in that reconciliation, right? Peace, love. So actually now very important is forgiveness and reconciliation is very important also. So who starts the ball rolling? I cannot expect you to forgive me, right? But what if I ask you, can I seek your forgiveness for whatever I've done, and let's move forward?
I think
that's one way of doing it, I feel.
We will be all on a better footing if we are all able to be gracious. We've run out of time. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with regards to unity. And as we move into the Merdeka month that's coming ahead, we hope that people are listening. So as we reflect on what it means to be Malaysian, let's remember that unity isn't about agreeing on everything. We don't have to agree on everything. It's about respecting our differences and finding strength in them. And in this noise, in today's world, may we each do our part to build those bridges that you mentioned we need to, and not walls. I'm Laying Up Live. Thanks for watching. Be sure to follow us for more in-depth conversations on issues that matter. Bye for now. Thank you so much, COLLIN.
Thank you so much.